he was the result of one of the first mistakes of my life, where my first co-founder left me and went because he got too scared building a startup, and I didn't have anyone to go. And I met this kid. He was a kid back then. Now he's old, and he said he'll build my website for me, and he is now my co-founder. He's building one of the best things startups in the country, in the world right now. But we had a lot of failures. Like, it took us about 6 years to get to making the first rupee, or now we call dollars in tyaglas. We did a B2C startup, which was the e-commerce space. So I've built e-commerce like a Flipkart. I had my own startup, which failed. After that, we built a social commerce startup. After that, we built a personal startup. Everything failed, but we never gave up because we just wanted to build something where we have some purpose, right? And lo and behold, 2017, 2018, we finally discovered this idea called Tagless. And the entire thing is funded by me and Palani. We have not taken $1 from any investor. So again, we can talk about all of these questions, why we didn't take money or later. But I am proud to say that we are a bootstrap, profitable startup growing at some insane rates right now with a solid team. And because of what we did in the past, everything in the past was a learning which brought us here today. So a lot of this journey, if you tend to join this company here, will be learning, and you'll eventually find out what you really want to do in life, right? But these are awards where we won the finals of the startups in India, went to Singapore, presented with, the India finals of the best startup that year. We also won, we part of the Microsoft Accelerator, where we presented this about 2018. It was just two of us. Me and my co-founder did everything. So I said, I'm a chief everything officer, as Pooja, as Anthony, as Tony, because to my customers we had to present a big name. I did everything possible so they thought we were a large company. Today, this is, everyone is young. I'm the oldest bloke in my entire team, but it is a very young team. That's my son way at the back, and we are growing. We want young blood which young people. I think your eyes and ears are still open. Once you start going into a large corporate, you basically are told not to think anymore. You're always told what to do, and very few people can make it on top. We're actually exploring ideas and making mistakes and learning from it. As a startup, we thrive on learning. We make mistakes really, really fast, and we learn. We have one rule: make a mistake really fast, but don't repeat it again. But today, we are bootstrapped and profitable. We have grown about 1,900% all during the COVID pandemic because e-commerce actually boomed in the last couple of years. And our target markets which we serve today everywhere outside of India. So we are actually defocusing on India, even though India gave us our early revenue. So in India, a couple of the names we serve, like Apollo Pharmacy, if you go to Apollo's website today and do anything in the e-commerce store, it's all coming from Tagless. Kalyan Jewelers, all by Tagless. Ritu Kumar, all by Tagless, right? So, but we are a global startup, and today we are serving the UAE, Australia, the largest market, and the people who've joined us, like Sunil, our team, Joel, everyone's joined us. Like, as a startup, again, it's we're building something together, right? So it's not like a typical company where you're an employee. We believe we're a team. We have a mission. So as the company also grows, everyone's salary here grows in different rates. It's not like we have a fixed thing saying you can only grow so much. Because you are contributing to our growth, everyone grows with the company, right? So at some point, we're going to be launching ESOPs in the company. If you guys know what employee stock options are, we will be offering ESOPs for the early employees, which we think will take us forward. But that's a recent party we had in Chennai. And what we're looking for, right? So yes, you guys went to college, all of that's great, right? But to me, again, given all of our backgrounds, I realized, and I hate to say this to you, but nothing which you really did in college is really going to, like, unless you stick to that stream only, and very few of you will stick to the stream. Most of you will eventually discover what you want differently in life, right? So I'm betting on that. But more than that, what we care about is people, right? There is a certain DNA. I don't want employees to come and just do stuff. I need people that we want to hang out with, we want to party with, we want to grow, laugh, cry with. And for that, these are skills that are important. Like, people valuing happiness. Yeah, money is important, don't get me wrong. We will all make money because of growth, right? But having values where you want to be happy at night, because you make $1 million, $10 million, $100 million. If you can't be happy and sleep at night peacefully, it's useless, right? So we have a very different mindset about how there are other things in life beyond money, like the urge to learn. By that, I mean, if you are in the space of learning, you should have the drive to learn on your own as well, right? So, trust. A lot of us, like I said, we trust you with our business. At some point of time, like Sunil today manages a couple of our largest customers in Australia. That's because I trust him, right? I don't micromanage him. I literally don't ask him every 2 days what he does. I just believe Sunil will take care of my accounts because he'll take care of the company. So we have to learn to trust with each other, which also means you have to respect each other. You are doing the best of your accounts, whatever response is given to you, because each and every one of you, what impact you make affects the entire company's journey. And because of these values we have as people, we've also run really well with our customers. The customers see that. And these are all reviews customers have given us publicly out there, which is very hard to get. So we have large customers, we have small customers, we have customers of different sizes, different scales. But the one thing is, they all say besides the product, we have an amazing team. Because that is something which is hard to replace by technology, people, right? So we want to find a great set of people we can actually be with. In the course of time, as I mentioned, we were working with a couple of the largest brands in the world. I mean, I would say a lot of our competitors are run for their money. You will see a competitor like really big run for their money. And I can't talk about, but they don't know we're a bunch of young company. We don't use the word startup outside. That's what I call the inside, because a fully oiled machine. Companies, by the time you become a company, everything is like very mechanical and process driven, right? We will become a company. On the outside, you project an image of company, which is why companies like Lego, Fila, right, Strandbags, Khadi, all work with us today, because we are a solid company on the outside. And we want people that can work in a startup on the inside, learn, have those values, and build a company on the outside, right? And yes, Sunil can talk about what else is there in the company besides this Gyan.
Right. So, hi all. Once again, hi to all the folks who joined a bit late. So, my name is Sunil. I am from the customer success or the customer experience team, as we call now, and I own a major chunk of the accounts in Australia. So, basically, when I joined tyaglas, it was a year and a half. I was a 21-year-old kid with no basic startup experience altogether. But because of the culture which is in place right now, I was able to explore within my limits and also among the different teams inside the company. I was able to go in all directions and finally figure out where actually I'm good at and what actually excites me the most. So, for instance, let's say I started with writing content. I used to write articles and blogs, and then I switched to handling customer support and slowly handling customer success. And as we progressed and as I started getting, I just mute someone whose audio. Right. So as I was saying, I was able to explore all verticals within the company. And even today, it's not like I've stopped with customer experience. We still have a bunch of departments that we're working on, and I am putting my hands dirty in those ones and trying to explore and see if that excites me better than what I'm actually right now, so that I'll be able to perform in a department where I'm really good at. And we don't actually call it departments right here because they're an early team. It's just different different processes altogether that we trying to build a process altogether. So apart from this, I also had the opportunity to learn, as I had mentioned, everything, and we have flexible work hours. So it's not like you have to log in at 9 a.m. every day, and even if there's work or not, wait till 7 p.m. to log out. So we have flexible work hours. We trust you with the work that you have to do. We believe that we don't care how long you take to get the work done. As long as you get the work done, it's all we care about at the end of the day. And we also have health insurance that is provided for you and your family. That is one of the perks that we have. And as I had mentioned, and even Tony mentioned earlier, right, the trust. So we have this flexible leave policy. So we don't care the number of leaves that you take a month or let's say in a week, or whether you're feeling mentally ill or not. So basically, you have your leaves with you, and we trust you to use it judiciously. It's not like uh, we wouldn't want you to use the leaves that you have, and we don't want you to accumulate everything on and on and on. We want you to take a leave, and we have a leave policy that helps you utilize your leaves and take time off. That's what we really want. We don't want you to get burnt out, and we want you to take time off, and we trust you to be inform the team about it, and make sure no one else suffers because you're AWOL or something, right? And we have a hybrid work model. So as you can see, the picture in between is actually what we call our office at some days, because some of us work from this co-working space in OMR at times, but most of us work from homes. We've been working from home since the pandemic started. And as you can see, all other pictures, we do have a lot of fun. The one on the left is us playing poker. The one on top is us having a fun time at the go-karting center in ECR. And this is the last picture towards your right, is us, after a crazy night at the beach house. It's a fun night actually. So, and yeah, that's about it about this. And that's the quarterly offsites that we usually have. The pictures are taken from those ones.
Right. Just so happen these quarterly offsites are also scheduled with growth, right? So again, we do work hard. We also believe in putting hard. So each time we did a quarterly offset, we grew, like I said, we grew 1,900% in the last 3 years, right? So our next trip, if we hit our goals, will be to Sri Lanka. We've already planned the beach house there. We've got all of that. And again, hopefully one of you might join us there, right? So yeah, so we will be working hard, and we do expect everyone to be like mini entrepreneurs, right? Own what you really like and deliver the best outcome. If you grow, we all grow together.
And just to add to Tony's point here, like own the outcome, right? So it's not like I'm fresher here or I have experience here. So what I decide is what's going to count. Or fresher, what he or she decides is not going to count, right? If you own something, if we trust you to own something, it means you own the deliverable and also the outcome, right? So it's like we trust you to get the job done, and you should be able to get it done. So and I don't think anywhere else you will be able to have this level of impact creation at such an early stage in your career. I'm saying this because I've worked in a couple of companies before, and for me to create an actual impact, it took a lot of time. So this direct value add is what you'll be experiencing here, and I think that's a great thing if you're early in your career.
So we said you're here because we want to think. Like there is doing and there is thinking, right? The thinking is the harder part. Asking questions. Each one of you are young, but it doesn't mean you don't have a point of view. Each one of you brings a different point of view to the same problem, and we want to hear that as well. And I think each of that is valuable. So it's your mind, finally, like I said, which is the most valuable thing, how you can actually think through solving problems you really like solving. Can I move on to the next slide?
Yeah, sure, please.
Right. So, like I said, we are a startup. We're only a couple of years old, but we've actually featured on this thing called the G2 grid, which is used by a lot of companies to understand who are the best in the market. Now, this is tyaglas today, right? If you look at the entire thing, what's at the bottom is called a high performing quadrant, and as you go up, it's called the market presence. So we are already here. What we lack is growing in the market, which is why I said we're going to a point where we want to go into the growth space. But before we head down the growth space, we need to have a team that can manage the growth. It's very hard to grow without having a good team, which is why I said people are really, really, really important. Money we have, but finding the right people is the harder part. And we want to grow from what's called as a leader in this high performing category into basically here, right? Another thing to note is we are here without raising $1 of venture capital funding, even though today we do have investors talking to us. The funny thing about investors, right? When you don't have money, you go to them, they will not give you money. When you have enough money, they will all come to you. And today we're at a point where they're all coming to us, but we don't want the money because at this point, I want the team and we want to hire the team with money we have. And to grow, we can take capital. But every one of these guys here has raised either venture capital funding or private equity funding, right? A couple of these guys are worth almost $1 billion, but we are still coming after them with this small young team from Chennai, right? And you will be on calls with like leaders in like say a Fila, a Nike, a Puma, if you can show us that you can handle the responsibility, own the outcome, and think what's best for the customer. And with that, we can definitely get here without raising $1 funding, which essentially means that we have a lot more capability than anybody else to create wealth from our team, right? Because there's nobody else to share the money with but just the team. So by basically, we want to become a leader in what's called the enterprise category. We are profitable, and because we have not raised capital outside, we've not given out any equity outside, we control our journey. So right now, this team has complete control on the values and everything which we have set in the beginning. The moment you change your journey, you got to change your values. And I don't think I want to change the values just for the money, but we'll still get there keeping these values in place. And in our world, so we are in what's called as a SaaS B2B product company, right? So we are pretty much at this point where we write about here. We want to get here. This is pretty much called as early stage. This is your mid stage. This is pretty much a company, right? So the way I look at it, if you make $1 million company, it basically means you survive, right? You're on a good spot. You have what's called as product market fit. Getting 1 to 5 is starting to build growth. And to 10, you pretty much start getting into a point of scale after that. And to go to this point, you need to have a solid team here. And that's why we're talking to you guys today, right? Do you want to be on this path where you want to go to a $10 million company for 5-10 years? And essentially means we build a company worth about $100 million in market cap. That's what they pay us in cash to buy a company like ours over time, right? And that's what we want to become. Basically, make $100 million, not for investors, but for us, right? So, Jewel will talk a little bit about who we are seeking in general.
Thank you, Tony. Thank you. Just wanted to add this one thing that, like whoever was here in the intro section, you guys heard music in the background, right? So that's how we usually do all our calls. This is how our setup is. This is what we wear. This is what we are. Like, we are at our maximum peak performance while we're talking with you. We're not making up any of this. We're not putting up a show for you. This is who we are. You know, you heard music. That's how we start all our calls. All our calls start with music. We even have a game around it. We make funny song suggestions, and somebody guesses the song, and then so we have a fun section around that as well. So everything that we do right now is who we are. Okay. So, and now what we want is to get somebody who aligns with this, to get somebody whose ideologies, whose understandings, whose capabilities come align with us, and then that brings us that helps us, both of us, to grow. So we want people who never stops learning. So just to tell you my story, I came in, and then the first 1 month of me, or 1 or 2 months of me being here was just pure learning. You know, I was put into fire, and I was asked to just figure out your way around it. So that urge to learn more, to find out more, to go out of your boxes, to go out of your zones, and to get do whatever it takes to get it done. So we want people like that, and what that allows you is to become independent thinkers. So as you start making plans for yourself, as you start evaluating your options, as you start making a roadmap for yourself, or on how you want to work, you will start thinking on yourself. Which all this will make you a better individual, give more performance, be more. You'll be able to perform well, and then at the same time help both of us grow. So that's the kind of thought process that we want students or our team members to go through. And when we say you're able to think on yourself, you're able to come up with a process, you'll also be able to decide what you will be able to do. I mean, the outcome is also in your control. So when you know what your plan is, when you know what your thought process is, when you know what you're going to acquire or achieve, you will most probably see the whole journey, and you'll be having control over your outcome. This doesn't happen overnight. None of us could crack it overnight. All of us learned it. That's the most important part. You don't have to know all of this, but you'll have to show that you'll have to have that urge to become this better person, that we want to align with.
So while you're saying that, Joel, so not to interrupt, but since Niveta has joined in and want to make sure we spoke about learning, right? So Nivi also is somebody that also manages another entire region of accounts for Tagless and the customer experience team. And she's also a great person to talk about, pretty much owning the outcome and learning as well, right? Nivi, you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, hi. Thanks, Tony. Hi, everyone. I'm Niveta. I probably don't seem like a good fit here when you look at the team at Tagless, because I used to work in a corporate before I joined Tagless. I worked for about 8 years. I used to work in sales and marketing. I was heading sales and marketing for a hotel in Goa. I took a break for about 6 years, and then I was looking for a restart, and that's when I uh, chanced upon Tagless. When I joined Tagless, or rather when I took over the role here, I did not think that my career would take complete turns here, because what I did in a corporate world is very, very different from what I've done here in Tagless. I keep telling the team this. Um, I feel I have learned a lot more in this 1 year, 1+ year in Tagless than I have, in my entire lifetime, because every day has been about learning something new. It's about improving and becoming better than what we were yesterday. So, uh, and to give you a quick brief about how I started my journey here, I joined here for a content writing role, or that's what I had in mind. Um, and then when I started writing articles is when I figured out that I need to know the product a lot more than I do right now. So I started taking over customer support because I enjoy talking with people, customers. So I thought I could take up customer support where I could help them with their problems. That's how I learned about the product. That really helped me understand the product. And then from there, I moved on to the next level of interacting with customers, which is customer success, where I'm owning that account end to end. So the account becoming a success, lies on me entirely. So that's something that I'm doing right now, while I'm still trying to help with content, a little bit of product marketing. Like, these are things I don't think I would have had the chance in 1 year in any company, outside. So I'm really thrilled about this.
And also with Nivi, right? So each time when you start getting better, the thing is to start pushing yourself slightly outside the comfort zone to keep getting slightly more better, right? And mistakes are fine. Like I said, we try and review things. We find ways to keep on improving. We encourage mistakes as well. As long as like it's contained and you know what you made a mistake on, you learn from that as well. Super. Joel, wanna
Right.
like
So yeah,
talk about
yeah.
teamwork learning?
So and then so like I was telling you, the even about Nivi, where the growth has been such massive that she's coming back here after an international customer call. She was sitting on an international customer call, finished that right now, and then now she's here with all of you all. So that's the level of growth that we have. The exposed growth at Taglis is that massive here. And also to tell you about how we look at our team, we don't want you to become another employee. This is not going to be another job that we're offering. This is going to be a mission for you all. This is a belief that all of us are taking care of. This is like a baby for all of us. Like we're getting another parent to this baby. We want somebody that careful to be taking care of this journey, to be part of this journey, to be one among us, to take care of this, and grow it in such personal terms.
Super.
Yeah.
Thanks. So while we spoke about all of these, I also didn't tell you what we do, right? So I'll quickly give you an example about what is it we do at Tagless in an example which might make sense. So I'm guessing most of you have gone to hopefully you've gone to a mall in the last couple of years, and this is an example of a Nike store, right? So if you walk into a Nike store, you notice that they have all of these shoes arranged here. And please note, Nike doesn't have just 100 pairs of shoes, right? You can see 100 pairs here. They have thousands of pairs. right? But why are these 100 pairs here, and why is it in this order here? Why have they arranged it by these departments with these colors? You notice how it's all color sequence, top to bottom? There is science behind that, right? So when you look at an online store, and that's where all customers are moving tomorrow, is to keep shopping online. The pandemic, like I said, surged that entire growth online, and every retailer is in fact going to what's called direct to consumer right now, right? And with this whole direct to consumer growth, there have been platforms like Shopify, BigCommerce, all growing exponentially. So we work with those platforms, and what we do is we collect analytics of people walking into the store. What are they touching, right? What are they touching? What are they wearing, right? What are they buying? So we start collecting analytics on every single action happening inside the e-commerce store. So when you walk into, say, a Nike's online store and go to the athletic training page, right? Or you search for athletic training, the products you're seeing there amongst the thousands are what is called as trending based on data, because that's why these products are here. It's not randomly done there. There is somebody there collecting analytics about every single thing you're doing in the store, either via Bluetooth or by the POS system, or via, like I think in other places they do actually cameras watching you, right? So you can see there's an entire sequence of products by color, by type, by size. That is what we're doing into the online store. So today, if you go to Apollo pharmacy and you search for diapers, the reason why you're seeing those diapers on top are because Tyaglas is telling Apollo, based on your data of your visitors in the last 30 days in your online store, we should be showing these diapers, and guess what sells? Mammy Poco Pants, right? Or if you're going to Nike and people search for like running shoes, we may tell them, hey, by the way, the Nike Air Sol or the Air Jordans right now are what should be showing on top, because nobody has time to spend 4 minutes, 5 minutes. I mean, think about your life, right? By the time this call is going on, I'm sure you've got 25 WhatsApp messages, probably 6 Instagram posts, and 25 Snapchat requests, right? And these online retailers spending thousands of dollars bringing them to your online site. You have no clue, but each time you click on an ad, he loses $100. Now you go to his online store, you're in that athletic training section, and you're browsing, ping, the phone rings, and you go, this poor soul has lost $100. Multiply that into 1,000 visitors per day, right? So what we do is we show the most interesting products on top, ensuring you start clicking on more things. The more you click, the more engaged you get, and then maybe you won't look at the WhatsApp message because now you're considering buying something. And that's how the profitability goes up, right? And guess how we know all this? Because in one of our earliest startups, we were basically the company on the back end, and we lost a lot of money, right? So everything ties back in the end too, like I said, the beginnings as well. So we are what I call a merchandising engine for e-commerce, serving customers like Fila, like Nike, not Nike yet, I will get them one day, but we have other large brands as well. And we power their what's called as their site search. So you go and search on the search bar, that's powered by us. You click on the navigation, men's t-shirts, we power all of that. When you click on a shirt and you see all those recommendations, hey, you may like this, you may like that, we power all of that. So essentially for an e-commerce store, we control what's shown in that store. We are that shopkeeper sitting inside that store, without which no sale can be done, right? Any questions so far? I know I've been talking a lot. Everyone's got their videos off. Maybe the WhatsApp messages and Instagram are taking you away. But for those who are here, any questions on what we do, on anything you've heard so far?
Hi, I'm Meg.
I'm not sure who's this. I can't see. I'm just going to stop my. Hi. Who's this?
Hi.
Hi.
Yes, hi. So I wanted to know, what are the big brands that you've collaborated with? You just spoke about them. So what are the biggest brands that you've collaborated with until now?
Yeah, so our largest brands are in Australia. There's a group called the Retail Apparel Group in Australia. They have about 6 brands, which are international, called Johnny Big, Taro Cash. So again, I call brands in two ways, right? There are brands that pay us a shitload of money, and there are big brands in the world, right? So Fila to me is actually a big global brand. Mama and Papa is a big global brand in Europe, but they're not our biggest accounts per se, right? Like Candy or Kalyan Jewelers in India is fully powered by us. But to us, they're not a big company technically, because the amount of revenue we earn, they're much smaller. Apollo Pharmacy is completely powered by Tyaglas. Ritu Kumar in India is completely powered by Tyaglas. right? Does that answer your question?
Yes. So here in Chennai, that is an Indian-based company. Do you like target brands abroad, and how does the work procedure and all of it go? Because we have a time zone that's completely different. So what are your work timings like?
Okay, there were three questions there. What's the first question? I know work timing is one question. You spoke.
Yeah. So you're an Indian-based company. So are you targeting like international companies, or what is it about?
So we're not an Indian company at all. We are an American company. In order to sell globally, it only makes sense having an American company. So tyaglas is an American company registered in Delaware. One. Number two,
Okay.
we are not targeting Indian companies at all because, like I said, they don't pay us enough, and we have a much bigger. We add a lot more value to customers outside of India. Right now, because of just the traction we got in Australia and the fact that I love Australia as well, we try to work with them. And also, Australia has a much better overlap to India than the US. So, on purpose, we do not target the US market at all. All the customers in the US come to us organically, but all our partnerships are focused on Europe and Australia. And work
And
timing.
about the timings, yeah.
So work timings again depends, I guess, on your role technically, right? So if, for example, you're in the content role, your timings can be completely flexible as long as, like I said, the job gets done. So we basically have goals on what has to be done, but content doesn't need to really have a time zone overlap at all, right? But let's say you get into customer support or customer experience, as we call it right now, then there will be some overlap of time zones. So you can choose, like I said, Australia starts at 4 a.m. technically, but we have consciously made a requirement that we start our day for the Australia zone by 6 a.m. It doesn't mean that everyone's up at 6 a.m. So again, because we're a startup, we kind of said, hey, by the way, I wake up really early, for example. I go for a run in the morning. So I told the team, you know what, at 6 a.m. to like 8 a.m., anything comes up, I'll manage that entire thing. And if it's a request where they want to speak to the account manager, then we'll ping the account manager. But you really don't get a lot of requests at 6 a.m., right? A lot of the requests come in from customers in customer support calls, and sorry, customer success calls, and customer success calls, which are more proactive calls, as we would call it, can be scheduled in your preferential time zone. So you basically have a calendar which is given, and in your calendar you can set your time zone, and in that available time zone is when customers can work with you, which also means you've got to be slightly flexible, right? So if you have customers in Australia, you can't tell them you'll start your work at 12 in the afternoon because you'll have no overlap with them, right? And if you're on the customer success team, part of the requirement is going to be building a rapport with them, getting on more calls with them, helping them out. So it will make sense to at least have an 8 a.m. start time, but you don't have to be in your desk at 8 a.m., right? And again, more of this is very, very role specific, which we can talk about later.
And what about the postings? Suppose if you do get a job, so where would your job be? Would you have postings abroad as well?
No, so fortunately, there won't be postings abroad at all, unless at some point we do start a sales team outside. So it'll be done with a local person there. But the company will be based in India. We are, like I said, an American company with an Indian office in Chennai. We are going to be remote hybrid, so you can work from home or coffee shop wherever you want. Those in Chennai pretty much meet up once a week in a co-working space. So it'll be done here, but there's no need to go abroad again unless you're, say, a partnerships team, right? I'm going to say all these are things we're building out right now. That team will tend to travel to every conference we have in every country where it makes sense for us to go and have a stall there. But there's no need to go and live outside. That is not going to happen through this company. We really have no need or requirement for a person to move countries to serve the customers.
Thank you so much for your time.
I'm sorry?
Thank you so much for your time.
Oh, you're welcome. Great questions. Thank you. Anybody else? Any questions?
Hi, this is Tangshar. Well, I have heard of customer support, but what is customer success? Would you be able to differentiate between those two departments, or is it something that is integrated with customer support as well?
I'll let Nivi and Sunil answer that actually.
Oh, okay.
I mean, they're
Because
doing it right now, so I'd love to hear what they have to say as well.
Shall I go first, Nivi? Hi, Dhanush. Nice name. I really love your name. So yeah, so basically I'll tell you, I started with customer support. So basically customer support meant, it's all reactive. A customer sends us something, we react to it, we look into it, we analyze the situation, we react to it. That's all reactive. Customer success is something that is proactive. So let's say you buy a phone, right? So, or let's say you go to a store or something. So when you go to the store and you get something, there's some guy who is going to help you, choose what you want, right? That is the sales guy. And after you're done with the purchase, there's the user manual you have, and you have someone helping you to, make full use of what you've bought. So that I would technically call that the customer success person. And let's say if you have any issues with the purchase, you reach out to a team, right? They are basically the support team. So you see the cycle, right? So basically, as of now, we are all founders role. So Tony's been doing all the selling. So he does the sales, we do the customer success, and if there's any queries, the support team attends to it.
Okay, wonderful explanation. Thank you.
And also just to add that, like the name customer success, right? So the role of a customer success person is to help the customer use the product and become successful. Like every customer has a goal. Like each customer is an employee in another company. They have goals, right? And the question, the main objective of the customer's goals, and using our tool make them successful.
Okay, and I do have one more question. Do you guys actually have any threshold in scores in order to get inside your organization?
Sorry?
I mean, do you guys have any threshold for scores?
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Please don't ask me how many ideas I have got. So I'm not going to answer that.
Yeah. So even I'm on your side. That's why I asked this question to you.
I'll be again
Right.
on that same night. So I don't make I have around 8 years of knowledge. I'm a mechanical engineer,
Okay.
right? And all we look for, like, right? Your past is your past. You got there because of whatever situation in life you were put there, and that's a card given to you. Now you have a set of new cards you can take off the deck. But whatever card you to give it your best and become the best at that, right? So, like I said, the past does not matter at all. I would say almost everyone in our team has had some sort of fresh start. I had a fresh start. My co-founder had a fresh start. We've never looked back, and we only gotten better and better and better every single day. That's the only requirement in the future.
Okay. Thank you, Tony. And yeah, that's it for now. No more questions.
Anybody else? Questions? Okay, this is like open house. You can ask any question you want about my personal life.
What would be a female to male ratio at workspace?
Great. Nivi, please answer that.
So I am the only female in the team right now, and I'm desperately looking for more female to join. So the ratio could be better.
I would love to give you company.
But I also want to add something here, and this is again something that I have shared it with the team, where I have come across, in the past, where there have been situations where I've never felt like I was given the chance to speak up, or to let my voice be heard. But from the first day that I joined here until now, so there are no designations here, or there are no senior, junior, or older, younger, male, female. None of that matters here. As long as you're bringing something to the table, it's valued here. So, yeah.
And also, I think to add, Nivi, you said female, right? But it's a point of view, right? When we look at problems, like I said, what we are doing is solving problems, and to solve problems, we need different persons of problem is very different from the way Sunil will solve a problem. They have different approaches, and by bringing in diverse, which is why I think diversity is important, right? Not for the male female thing. I just generally think diversity is important.
That's right.
Thank you for asking the question. Sorry?
And that's right. That's a relief. Actually, I'd seen a couple of pictures where the pictures on your slides, it had only men on it. So
Hey,
I
you know
was
what?
kind of relieved when I saw when
No,
I
no,
had some speaker come in who was
I'm
I
hidden
have
who
in
was a
one of the
lady.
pictures.
there at the back.
Oh
Actually
yeah.
speaking.
She was attending to her son actually. That's
By
why.
the way, yeah. So by the way,
Yeah.
our parties, our sons and kids all come. So if son
It
was
was
there.
in the poker picture. It was in the poker picture where you guys were playing poker. It was in that one. So I was like, oh okay.
Oh, Nivi was on the other side actually. She was feeding dinner to her kid again
Yeah, yeah. And
Right.
while
again,
this
so
picture
he
was
left
taken.
early.
I think with my hairstyle, you might not differentiate.
Yeah, but I mean, it's really, really important. Like I said, we want to make sure. Like I really feel that, like I said, people are everything right now, and points of views make a difference, right? Which is why background, like Nili told, she's from a hotel management background. Sunil came from a writing background, from a different background, right? So your point of view is what I think is really valuable, and for you to keep improving and sharpening on that, be vocal on that, and own the outcome is like going to be so priceless for all of us. Any other questions? Again, open house. Any questions? Past, present, future. To anyone, not just tyaglas, not Sunil Nivi. You can also ask him how, what are my worst habits. We ask anything.
Higher interns, or do you look at only people who finish their entire degree? Like we still have like like a whole semester of journalism to be completed. This is going to be my last semester. So do we need to complete a degree to like join you, or do you like hire interns as well?
I think the answer is yes. We are looking at both, right? So we do have
Yeah, yeah.
interns we are
Yeah.
planning to hire as well. We have some roles, but again, the thing is, I want you to think through. I'll explain what the expectations are. But as long as again you have the time commitment, so internship, I've also done internships in the past, and I did things I didn't really like back then, right? So for me, the thing is, it can't be an internship to check the box. That's one request I have. I'll be upfront, right? If you're doing it here, what we want to know is how much time do you really have, and what can you really give and achieve in that 6 month period, and then we set goals to kind of actually make sure you're able to do that, right? If you can arrive at something like that and get a meaningful outcome at the end of it, it's definitely a yes, right? But we don't want to have just interns for the sake of having interns, which is what I did when I was in college, unfortunately. But yes, reach out to Jewel, please.
If we by any chance get selected, so when are we supposed to like join with the team?
Jewel, want
All
to
right.
take it?
So yeah, yeah. So Kunal, so after you finish, so everything is uncertain right now. We're all being going through a phase of uncertainty, and I'm sure that you guys don't know when your exams are going to end. So what our plan is to give you guys a break after you finish your final exams. Uh, so you finish your final exams. You definitely need a break. You take a 1 month break, and then you join us. So tentatively, 1 month post your exams is going to be your joining date.
For the full time, and again for
Yeah.
interns, like I said, that is something which is we're going through right now. That's something which is like all year round. And again, if you're interested in that, there's a form which will be sent out after this call, right, Joel? For
Yeah,
you to
yeah.
put in your interest there, and the form should have like either internship or a full time or both checkbox, I'm guessing. Just fill that in, and once we go through that, we'll reach out to you for the internships right now, and the full time probably a little later on, but we'll start the process also.
Yeah, okay, that answers my question. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
Come on,
Tony,
guys, give me a very uncomfortable.
hello,
Yeah.
yeah, I do have a question. And when will the interview process will start?
The what?
Interview
Interview process.
process, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah. So for the interns, I think we're going to like send another form like today, and we'll wait for probably about 7 days. Form to be completed in about 5 days, and there will be 2 rounds of behavioral questions we will have. So the entire interview process itself will probably start from today. Required to fill up a Google form about 5 days from now, and then we'll start from next week or the week after, depending on how many things are at least.
was raised hand.
Wow, who's that? Sorry, wow, you're already like Zoom friendly, man. Super.
That is the placement of.
Oh, put your hand up. Sorry, I didn't know. Good evening, sir.
Nice talking to you all, and it's a pleasure for me to connect with your organization. And I'm really happy that students are really interactive, because most of the pre-placement talk, many of the students, they don't ask questions. But here I could say and see that a lot of students are asking good questions. And thank you for this wonderful opportunity. See, as an institution, I would like to ask you whether is there any possibility of signing an MOU with the respective departments where we could work on getting internships as well as recruitment in the coming years. So if there is any possibility of signing an MOU where we can exchange knowledge and we can come to our institution and conduct some guest lecture for the students, make them well prepared what exactly the industries are looking for. So we are looking into collaborations with the institutions where we wanted to strengthen our industry institute collaborations. So if you could help us in this particular process, probably this would also help you to have a win-win situation for both of us. I would like to hear from you on this, sir.
Yeah, so regarding the MOU part, so from a hiring perspective, right? So again, as a startup, I'll be honest, we are learning how to plan. Like this is kind of a very early stage. We just planned here. Next year, so I don't, but we'll definitely come back and hire. I know we're going to hire. I just don't know how many we're going to be hiring. From coming and giving, let's say, you say lectures, but this is India's, like this is youth of India, right? This is tomorrow's India, and I'd love to share, like all of us, whether it's me, Nidhi, Sunil, we would all love to come and maybe share our learn tyaglas or like SaaS B2B, but I'd like to at least tell students, give some clarity in terms of what to look for in life tomorrow. You don't want to make a lot of the mistakes we made. I made a lot of mistakes because I did my mechanical because my father said to mechanical. Job in a multinational because the friend got a job multinational. I followed the entire rat race to a point where it was very late when I said screw up. Pardon my words. Forget this stuff. Everyone can do that. I was lucky. I was lucky to find this team. I was lucky to find my co-founder when I came here. And I'd love to share experiences on career building in general, right? And just giving people overviews on what departments are, because today we are forming departments. Like Sunil was saying, right? We are building things. So when marketing, which is why I was asking why digital marketing? Like, do you know what outcome you're going to be owning? Do you know what you're going to be doing day to day? I'll be happy to come and shed some light on the nuances of each role and what you can expect as an excitement in the role as well. So let's definitely talk, so we can do that. And like I said, I'd love to come and we would love to come and share our learnings with the students.
We can connect offline and then we can take this forward that way.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Yeah. I do have one more question here, Damsh again.
Hey.
Yeah, sorry, I forgot to ask this. Right. Do we have any contracts for getting into the company?
What do you mean by contract?
Like
I mean,
bonds.
Yeah, any bonds that we have to work for a certain period if we wanted to work for your organization.
Our policy, it's simple, right? If you don't like, literally, if you don't like the company, 10 days you can leave, because you're not adding value. The moment you don't like what you're doing, it doesn't make sure you hand off whatever is there and you go. Second thing is what I told Joel, right? From a hiring perspective, if we make a mistake hiring somebody, we will give you a 2-month severance package, right? Once you finish probation and all of that stuff. In the probation period, pretty much is different. But if we make a mistake in hiring and we let go of somebody, pretty much you're done. So it doesn't make sense. I mean, this is like almost getting into a marriage of sorts, right? So it doesn't make sense for you to be in it if you don't like being in it.
Okay. Thank you, Tony.
Welcome. And just piece of advice: anyone says you have a bond, run away. Any other questions? Super. So Jewel, please connect with Sir afterwards and just get that conversation going. And again, if required, I can jump on a call. You, me, and Sir can jump on a call. And I am in Chennai, sir. So if you need to catch up in person as well, happy to. Fortunately, because of COVID, I haven't left the country at all. Otherwise, as I was saying, the partnership salesperson is me, so I'm always in a flight somewhere. But I will be here for the next 6 months for sure. So if you need us to come and talk, meet anytime, please do let me know, and we'd love to meet you in person.
Sure, sir. Definitely.
Cool.
Definitely, we'll be in touch with Ajwal, and then we will take it forward.
Sounds great.
Thanks.
Sounds good.
Awesome. So I wish you all the very best. Like I said, life's going to change starting the moment you leave the
Comfort.
doors
Yeah,
of
the comforts of your college.
It gets exciting. Like I said, just make sure you pick something that's close to your heart. Don't follow the money.
Yeah. So
All right.
thank you.
That's it from us. Thank you so much.
Thank you for taking time to get here. We started
One-
on
one-
time.
Yes, sir.
One more, Jwel, sorry to
Good,
interrupt.
good.
Students, those who are interested, please share your resumes to placement cell so that we can take it forward in conducting the other process.
Yes, sir. So I think what's going to happen is once this is over, we'll send a Google form that will have a couple of behavioral questions and like a resume upload, all of that as well, right? So we are going to go through that process. So Jewel, if you want, again, you can have this conversation with Sir offline, but we'll explain the process as well. Maybe a little different, but we'll share that with you. And then you can pass it on to the students afterwards. Sir.
Sure, definitely, definitely.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Definitely.
Looking forward to it. Thank you so much, and wish you all the best ahead.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
The recording has stopped.